Welcome back to IM1, everybody. Today's topic 4.1.2. How close is the model? So the daily learning target is today I'll be able to find the slope and the y-intercept of the line of the line of best fits and interpret its meaning according to the context of the problem. So again, we're continuing with statistics. So we're still looking at the line of best fit. We want to figure out what is the best one, right? Like that's what's called the line of best fit because we do want to make sure that it makes a really good prediction. So we're going to start off again with problem 410. It says write an equation the slope of in slope intercept form for the line of best fit drawn on the scatter plot below. So step one, first we want to identify m. And if you guys remember what m is, it's pretty much the slope, right? So the slope of the line. And again, one of the things we want to do is we want to make sure that we ignore the points on the scatter plots. All right. Just focus on the line itself. That's the only thing we're looking at, just the line itself. So first, let's figure out what M is. Again, remember it's rise over run. And that's pretty much one of the things we want to do. So we want to pick 2 points that are easy to spot, right? And usually those points are the ones that are crossing the grid. So let's first, the y-intercept seems to be about right there. So I would say we can pick that point and then we're going to keep going up from there. Let's see, there's another value right there. So let's figure out how much we go up. The rise would be, again, in this case, it's 4. And then the run would be 3, 6. So 6. We have 4 over 6 positive because the line's going up. And then remember, you can always reduce that fraction. In this case, it's going to be just 2 over 3. So that's pretty much our slope in this case. And then step 2, identify the y-intercept, right? The b value of the line. So remember, we're always writing our line. In this case right now is in y equals mx plus b form. So the y-intercept of the line again is where the line crosses the y-axis. And in this case, it seems just to be easy enough for us to identify, which is positive 2. So we're going to say b equals positive 2. And then from there, we're just going to write our equation again in slope-intercept form, right? Y equals mx plus b form. So y equals the m value, which is 2 over 3, times x, and then plus again, as always, our y-intercept, which is just plus 2. So that's the line. And then question 411, it says, which equation would be most accurate for the line of best fit for the scatter plot? Now, here we have pretty much just the points, right? So that's one of the things that you guys notice. So what would be, of the 4 options that we have here, right? We have A is the y equals negative x plus 9, B is y equals 1 half x plus 9, and then C equals y equals negative 2/3 of x, and then finally y equals negative 1 half x plus 9. So one of the things that you guys want to do here is pretty much just identify where the line is at, right? So in this case, most of the values, if you notice, I would say the line of best fit would be somewhere around there, right? We should get most of the values on one side and then most of the values on the other side. So in this case, I would say the line has to be negative, all right? So we can pretty much throw away any option that's not negative because our slope has to be negative, right? And then our y-intercept has to be somewhere over here. So maybe positive 10, maybe positive 9, maybe around there. All right. So either 9 or 10, right? So it's just a prediction. So let's see the options they gave us. We have y equals negative x plus 9. So that could be a possible option. So I'm going to put a little star next to it. And then the next one, we said B was not going to work because the slope is negative, not positive. And then C, we have y equals negative 2/3 of plus times x. And then in this case, the y-intercept here is 0. All right, so plus 0. But again, ours has to be either 9 or 10, right? So this one doesn't qualify as well. And then finally, we have y equals negative 1 half times x plus 9. So here, in order for us to determine again, this could be it. So both of these have the same y-intercept. Okay, so it's just either it's going down by 1 or it's going down by 1 and then 2 to the right. So let's try to figure that part out. So the y-intercept has to be 9, so therefore it has to be around right there. And then we're going to decrease our line where most of the points again are on one side and then the other one's on the other side. Okay. So I would say that's pretty even right there. we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 points on each side, and then we have 3 points on the line. So I think this is a pretty good line of best fit for this model. So here, if we want to identify the slope, we're just going to go down 1 in this case, right? So -1, and then 2 to the right, if you guys can see that right there. So our slope is -1/2, and again, in this case, B was 9, right? Because both of these have B as 9. So that means that since we have a slope of -1/2, our answer is D. Okay. And then looking at problem 412, it says find the equation that would be most accurate for the line of best fit for each of the scatter plots. So on the first one, they're giving us pretty much the graph. We have the graph here, and then it says, first of all, has let's identify. Remember, forget about like it says right here. Focus on the line itself. So let's figure out what the slope is first for the line itself. So m equals, and then we're also going to figure out what the b value is. So again, the b value is always your initial one. So that's in this case is just it starts off at the axis right there at the center. So at the origin. So therefore, b has to be equal to 0. All right. So again, this one has a b value, so you can cross that one out. And then our slope, if you notice, has to be positive. So it does have to be positive. I know that for sure. So here we want to pick 2 points. One that goes, that's the first one right there, and then you can pick there's one right there, right? I would say no, this is the one, the best one that pretty much fits it. So that one goes up 2. It goes up 2, and then 5 to the right. So we have 2/5. All right, now it's different. They give us decimals, right? So we know we have 2/5. Don't be afraid to use a calculator here. Just hit 2 divided by 5, and you're going to figure it out. That's pretty much just going to be 0.4x. All right, you can always use a calculator. There's no problem with that. And then let's go to part B. So in part B, they don't give us the line, right? So we got to figure out what would be the best starting point for this, so we can pretty much have an initial value that's going to be uh, close to the pattern, right? So we have 6 here. All our B's are 6, so that means it has to be one of those, right? So this one has B as 0. So if you notice, it's not going to happen. And then again, so I'm going to make that my first point. And then remember, we have to have the same amount of points on each side. So I'm thinking that would be I have besides the ones that are on the line, I have like 5 on one side and then 5 on the other side. So I'm pretty sure that's like around there. Okay. So that's our line our best fits. Okay. Let's figure out what we're going to do here. So again, B is 6, right? That's where we started. And then this one, if you guys notice, we start off here and then we can go up to the next point right there. So we went down 2 and then 2 to the right. So our slope m here is equal to -2/+2, which is just equal to -1. So our equation has to be y equals, right? -1 or just -x. Remember, you don't have to write the 1, and then +6. And therefore, it's A right there.